Hi, it's Danny at VRAI Magazine, and today I am with designer Francesca Liberatore. Francesca, so nice to finally meet you, and I'm excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thanks to you, and it's a really good pleasure.
Well, good. So, congratulations on your latest collection, which I just saw today at Milan Fashion Week. Beautiful as always. Love the textures, the colors, and just when I see it, I know it's Francesca's collection. I know it's you, so it's very beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration for the season's collection?
Yeah, so the inspiration for this collection actually came in a period where all of us we were actually close because we are all going through this pandemic, and we all going through this time where we all separate and in our apartment. So basically I was finding a reason why to do this collection, and then because I was talking too much, like so much to my student, I always felt a big relevance either on my lesson and either of my way of working is the fact that I give a lot of importance to certain kind of garment and to the identity that this kind of garment has. So, for example, I took the trench coat, the raincoat from the afterwar until now. So I take it from the afterwar and I take it for three period actually, where the fashion goes in a very rebirth, always rebirthing afterwards. So for example, I took the trench coat on the 60s, 70s, and then the trench coat of the classical one of the investigation movie, like a noir film, something like that. And after I took the trench coat through the 90s, and I took a bit more like a Matrix period, so more movie star period, so bigger volume, nylon fabric, and so on. And then I took the trench coat, I transformed the trench coat in a wedding dress in my final section that actually represent a rebirth of fashion, which is like the last couture of the 2000, let's say. That's why you see six white garment coming out. And then those six white garment, they are somehow represent, one of these, as I say, is representing a trench coat, but they are somehow representing a wedding dress, like the purity and the changing and the rebirth of a new life. And these six dresses are coming out on a scene where you have a building and where you have windows, where inside you see people, and you see people that from different period and from different type of life that actually are the character that are wearing those wedding dresses. So basically I try to mix a very stuck period like the afterward with the period that we are living now, and then like four period of the rebirth of fashion until now, how the fashion will change now, which one is the way that all of us we're going to take. And then this has been my storytelling, let's say,
Okay.
after I start to build up situation, media. And we have to say that what I want to transfer is a real dream. It's like a totally storytelling. As you saw from the way we create this video, it didn't want to be like a digital fashion week, because I don't trust the digital fashion week. I really believe on the live catwalk runway. I really feel my garment, they are alive when there is the body walking with that. So I didn't want to do any digital catwalk, but I wanted to do something that is the storyboard of what's supposed to be. Because until 3 weeks ago, actually, we were ready to create all that you see in a real theater with holograms, with projection. So everything that you have been seeing, actually, it was created by us. We made it, but after we say, okay, I'm not going to do the show. And then we rebuild everything 2D, two-dimensional, to create the same dream, the same storytelling, but without being inside a theater.
Oh my gosh! So
So
you did a lot in the last few weeks then.
exactly.
Was this experience in terms of doing this digital film? much easier or crazier than a normal runway show or catwalk show that you've done in the past that was physical? What do you think?
Well, with the other one, I must say that I'm more confident, of course. And now I have my team. We are all running really nice situation together. So is very fluid mostly. But when we work in this kind of way, like technological, for me, is totally new. So and I work with a person that is always working with me, then we're kind of very symbiotic in the mind. So that was good. But at the same time, it was harder because, the solution, the technical solution to make, to really achieve what was in my mind was kind of hard. And at the same time, I don't want to do something too clean, but I want to do something that really was an abstract, was something very very handcraft, was something really like a brainstorming on what it was supposed to be, because this is kind of a process and not a final result.
Okay,
So
okay. Well, I love the end result because when I first started watching the film, I'm like, oh, it's in a theater. And then, nobody can see a show these days. So it was wonderful to be put in a theater environment. I'm curious, who was the gentleman that introduced the whole the film? Who was doing the narration? Who was that gentleman?
he's yeah, he's a very important film critic, like a
Okay.
movie critic and movie director, and he's always involved in Cannes, in the Festival of Roman Cinema, the Festival of Cannes, Venice, because he's a movie critic.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. That's good to know, and everybody understands now. It was
Yeah,
interesting
and
watching.
he wrote, yeah, he
No, go
wrote
ahead.
this monologue especially for me to
Ah,
introduce this part of war uniform in relation to fashion and in relation from movie theater fashion and implementing all those things together.
okay. Well, that was wonderful, and then I love being able to see the different acts in the like a regular play, right? There's an act one, there's an act two, and act three, so different vignettes. So like there was the war scene at the beginning, and then there's the film noir, the murder mystery in the middle part, and then what really surprised me, I think, the most was the finale looks, because you said there were wedding dresses, and I don't recall ever seeing wedding dresses from you before in your collections, and because they were very cream in color, pale white, and then very monochromatic. I was like, I need to ask Francesca how this came about, and you told me previously in terms of what those pieces were, but they were very beautiful though. Um, so does
Thank
this
you.
mean does this mean that there could be a potential, wedding, a bridal collection in the future for Francesca Liberatore, or you never know?
No, I don't think so. I just think that I'm like a child of the 90s fashion.
Okay.
So let's say that for me, the wedding dress is the one that really close a couture show. So this time I wanted to have this piece. Normally, I always have a closing,
Hmm.
it's something that I always bring with me. But maybe it's a craziest one, or it's something that is somehow different or representing the collection. This time I really want them to be all white because like they represent like the rebirth of the life of people that has been and now is like that and can be something else. So I really need them as a link between timing and between people life.
Okay. Well, that's
So I really
wonderful to
need
know.
them.
And I love the story
Mm.
behind it all, and it's great to be able to talk to you, to hear it from you in terms of what you were thinking and how you created all the pieces together. So thank you with that. Okay, so one last question about the film. Okay, at the end you have country roads at the very end, as far as sing along, and I was like, so where did that come from? I'm just curious to know.
Yeah, like this storytelling, which actually was from a trip that I did in America, and I was I was with a person driving on this on this road on the countryside of New York, on Poughkeepsie in the north of New York, and there was like all this yellow big tree, and I found it very fascinating because for me, that I'm Italian, that really reminded me. Patriotic feeling of ancient America. So I felt that this situation at the moment that goes so far with the technology need something that belongs to us, needs something that is very intimate to us and to our background, to our culture, to our previous life. And I think Country Road, with this patriotic feeling and the feeling of home, coming back, belong, all that kind of word really sound inside our soul. And then I felt that was the mood that I want to create at the end, after seeing all these crazy sound, this melodical sound that goes together with the images, and from this great musician, because everyone that played in this movie, they were amazing classical musician, very important, belonging to this society of concert here in Italy. So they are really great musicians that work it out with my images, their music. But I felt at the end we really need something that everyone can share, like a feeling that everyone can share. And I think that that song really felt this, because as well bring back nature inside a time that is totally technological, bring back feeling inside something that is totally bring us apart, totally separation, division. So, and this one really bring back something inside us that will always stay, either inside our house, but inside our heart, in our society, because it's inside us. So
no, that makes sense, and especially during these times, it's very much needed after everything that everybody has experienced this past year. So good. No, thank you for letting me explaining that, because I had to ask you about what that was all about.
absolutely.
Yeah. So as far as before launching your label and your own collection and everything, you've worked at some amazing houses of Victor and Rolf. You've worked at Jean Paul Gaultier, even Brioni and such like that. And then I know that you graduated from Central St. Martin's in London. So, you have an amazing background and everything. Did you always want to be a fashion designer when you were growing up?
Yes, I do. I mean, it seems strange because I did literature in high school, but because my father and my mother, they're both artists, and they really were scared for my future, to be artists, or to me get involved into a field where no one can help me. Then it was really crazy on the beginning, and then there was this kind of say, okay, if you can get into apparently everyone say that San Martin is really good, so if you can get there, and is really selective, so if you can get there, it means that maybe you're going to have some chance. If not, you're going to be a lawyer or something. So basically that was the deal. And once I get there, my father and my mother, they just say, okay, well, then you can go. But actually, I always have the feeling, in my time, when I was young, there was, I born in 83. So when I was young, there was not this feeling of fashion all over. What we can see was the really big catwalk, but maybe in the TV program, we don't have this close feeling as the child of nowadays has. But for example, I remember that for me, the most important things was drawing. And every time I just drawing garment. So I was not involved so much into the fashion field, advertising, marketing, and all that kind of stuff, communication. I was really much into designing clothes since when I was really young. And then after that, as I say, once I get into San Martin, I've been selected, from there, I started, because I say, okay, then my passion can become maybe my job.
Okay. Well, you obviously picked the right career because you've done a wonderful job and you've, accomplished so much, and we can't wait to see more from you, season after season. For people that are not familiar with your brand and the Francesca Liberatore clothing line, how would you describe it to a woman who's looking at your collection for the first time? What is Francesca Liberatore all about?
I'm always like my garment, they are kind of really investigate some part of society every time. And they investigate it with a very autonomous view. So every woman that chooses this garment probably is because the garment says something to them. And at the same time, they can say something by wearing that garment. Like giving word to my garment. Sometimes I always try to write words. Sometimes I need music to help me to make them speech. But for me, it's very important that the woman that wear my garment feel something by seeing them, choose them because of a reason. That's why my garment, they always have something hidden. They always have something special. They always have something, some little tiny strange things inside. And if you get close to them, you can really feel there is something, sometimes something wrong, sometimes something different, sometimes something strange. But you feel, I mean, the woman that choose them normally is someone very careful to the detail, very analytical with society, very someone that look very much around, and that actually choose to have one thing's different. Maybe she doesn't need to have the total look, but maybe is that piece, because I always care about every single piece in my collection. I'm not working that much to the total look like a styling person, but I'm working on the single garment on hangers. So because I always think that with a pair of jeans, or with anything, my woman can be appropriate, and by choosing one, just one of my garment. And this is a bit the ideology behind my collection.
No, that's wonderful to know because what I love about your designs and your collections and the looks is that it's always layered. There's always a story. There's the details. There's the textures, and there's a Francesca Liberatore style to it, but there's always a nuance or a difference with each season, and so that's what I'm always looking forward to. What's going to come next? So that's exciting to hear. So.
Yeah,
Um,
because I feel like we are all creative people, and we are like a storyteller at the end of
mhm.
the day. We're not just making a garment. I mean, especially my generation or the autonomous designer, like we are not totally living by selling our clothes, but basically we are living with the dream every time that we are telling to people. We are living for the passion of this job, but also from the real big power that this kind of research work give to us in the 6 months before the show, because we're really passing time on that and we create our own little world. So I think the best things is the storytelling that we are doing after the collection. That's why it's so important that after the collection can speak on our own.
No, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, so I know you're very busy. So last question. You do so much designing and you do a lot of, things. You're also teaching. So how do you have time to teach, and why do you teach design to new and up and coming, students in the world? What is it that drives you to teach?
Well, I really find interesting I mean, I think the teaching keep me really close to what the young generation watch. And for me, this is a very great challenge and very important because, this is a basic example I'm doing always as well to my student, but I think it's very interesting because, for example, when I see the same, like when I see 5 different students bring me the same picture. Among the 30 picture, they have one common picture. I'm really wondering why 5 people in a class they pick this picture. Maybe it's something that I never watched on on one of my designer colleague. Then I'm like, why are they so interested on this look? And then for me, it's really intriguing, looking careful, like what those kids are doing, because I see what the young generation are looking at. And like this, I have like kind of sociological change and
Hmm.
study every time through them. And I think is really good emotional exchange as well, because I mean, I always keep update with them. I always feel pushed by them. I always feel I always feel fresh emotion with them. So I really think this is something that I want to keep, and is really important for me. I'm teaching either in Milan and either in as well New York,
Okay.
because I teach I do some lecture in Mary's College,
Okay.
which is I think they're really great there, and I really think they give a lot of chance to their student, as we try to do here in Italy. But like this, I also face a different method of education, a different growing of student. And I think again, this as a designer, like those are my audience at the end of the day. When they're gonna grow, this is gonna be my audience. So I'm really keen on looking after them and looking at what they like. Yes.
No, that's wonderful, it's wonderful that beyond designing great collections, you're also helping nurture and teach the next generation of designers out there. And you know, um, hopefully, now that your collection has been shown at Milan Fashion Week, you get to rest a little since you do so much. Hopefully, you get to recharge, and I'm just going to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I greatly appreciate it, and continued success. And we can't wait to see you again at Milan Fashion Week or wherever you're showing your collections around the world.
Absolutely, but I thank you really a lot to be with me since I came to New York. I really appreciate that, because I really feel feel supported, and I feel like that I left something there. So this is a really good pleasure for me, and as well, even if I came back to Italy, I'm happy that we still keep this relation,
Yeah.
and that people there are still following me. So I'm really happy of that. So thank you, because you're bringing this message in the other side of the world. So really thank you,
Well, you're
Danny.
welcome. You're welcome. And hopefully one day I can actually, be in Milan to see Milan Fashion Week, in person one day,
But
whenever
I
things
also
get
finger
back to
crossed to come
normal.
back. I also finger crossed to come back to New York soon.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
we'll find
would
each
be a
other
double
somehow.
challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Keep in touch.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Francesca. Stay safe and appreciate your time today. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time on VRAI Magazine. Bye bye.